FishAholic fam? Well, welcome back to another episode. If you're new to the channel, my name is Rich, so welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button in the end if you enjoy this video. And today we are back in Rhode Island, finally, which it's been probably like 3 or 4 years since I fished this area. And the reason I'm out here to fish is because if you saw my last video, I was on my way up to Vermont and I fished the North Fork of Long Island, then took the ferry over to Connecticut, went up to Vermont for my buddy's wedding. And it was kind of like a couple days off and a nice little vacation up there. I did a little fishing yesterday on the paddleboard and got on some largemouth, but today we are back to business, gonna be fishing hard and heading out into Block Island Sound there and be willing to catch whatever's willing to bite. And this spot here holds a special place in my heart because 7 years ago, I believe, when I was a freshman at Johnson & Wales University, this was the very first spot that I decided to throw the GoPro on my head and start to fish and film, and absolutely just fell in love with it. So the rest is history, and this is where we are today. And I hope we can get out and get on a nice striper bite or fluke bite or black sea bass. So stay tuned, let's go find some fish. All right, so I think we're gonna start out by working the south wall here, which this is a really long jetty that juts out into Block Island Sound. And I would say it's probably at least 2.5 miles all the way out and around. And then we'll come back in through the harbor. Unless the fishing is phenomenal, then we'll come back, you know, on the sound side. But I'm just gonna start with this, I think 1 1/4 or 1.5 ounce yellow bucktail with some pork rind as a trailer bait. And it's 28 feet here, kind of deep. You know, I'm probably gonna get a little bit closer to the rocks and try and fish like an edge where it, you know, it drops off from the jetty. And I feel like that's where there's gonna be possibly some stripers or some bluefish cruising up and down. And this tide just started coming in, so I can already notice we've got a nice little current sweep from left to right. And you know, that could be good. There could be fish cruising this way, coming in with the tide, or fish just like maybe hanging in the current like trout in the stream, waiting for, you know, me to throw my bait towards them and they'll hopefully whack it. There's a fish. Whoa. Woo! It's pulling some good drag. That's probably like a dozen casts in so far too. Just working the bucky right along the bottom. Oh man, I think that was a bluefish. Whoa! This fish just crushed it on the drop as it was sinking to the bottom. It's got some good weight to him. What is it? It's a snagged bluefish. Oh, it's a striper. Little guy, but hey, it's something. Oh, he's got a follower too. Hit another one come up right underneath him. All right, hey. Got the skunk out of the boat. Broke the ice. See ya. All right, well, let's keep working this area. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of a concentration. And ideally, I'm hoping we could get into like some slot size class fish today, because our last outing on the North Fork was kind of dismal. We caught like all just like really tiny micro diaper stripers. I think like all of them were smaller than the one that we just caught, and the one we just caught was pretty small anyway. So I'm casting, I'm trying to follow that bucktail as it's sinking and gliding down to the bottom, because that's how you're going to detect any bites from fish on the drop. If you just let it go slack and sink, you might see the line stop, but by the time you get tight and set the hook, that fish has probably already spit it out. There's another one. Oh, A lot smaller too. Oh, and he's got a follower too. Looks like we got some more of them stacked up right here. See ya. There's another one. Little guy. See ya. So we caught that one probably about maybe like 20 yards further down the jetty. Did have a couple other bites but didn't connect. And like right here in this little area, it gets a lot shallower and there's a lot of like, you know, scattered big boulders, and you know, that little guy was probably hanging on one of the boulders. Oh, there's another one. Good concentration of fish here. Oh, and he's got a follower. I bet you these little guys are pushed up on this shallower spot because, you know, being that the water is still only in the mid to upper 50s, you know, once the sun bakes this shallower area, the water probably is a little bit warmer, and there's probably also bait that is pushed up in there, so these stripers are in there feeding on it. Oh my gosh, I literally just pushed the stop record button and the jig was just hanging right next to the kayak, and this striper nailed it. A little bit bigger schooly too. About the size of our first one. Not bad. Oh. This one feels a little nicer, or not. He had a good little run like when he first hit. Kind of hooked him in the like side of the face there, so that's why he pulled so hard when he first hit. Oh, there he goes. So I'm starting to think the other reason these fish are concentrated here is because we're like out towards the very like tip of this jetty, and there's a really good rip running in around this point, and we're like kind of on the front side of the rip, so that's probably why these stripers are here also. Got another one. We had to come down about another 50 yards to get another bite because that little hot action bite we were on slowed up. All right, well, it's been about 30 minutes since we were on that like hot, consistent schooly bite, and we moved down about 100 yards, and I did get one more little diaper striper, but I kind of want to switch tactics for a little bit and put on a small little bucktail on the FishAholic Dark Matter Inshore Series rod, and then I was thinking we could drop down and see if we could get maybe some fluke or some sea bass. So I've got this 1/2 ounce little bad fish bucktail, which should look pretty nice with just a little 4-inch Berkeley gulp grub on the back. All right, so I'm gonna try and find the edge of these rocks where it meets the sand. And that's where I'll try, drop this little bucky down there and just work it, 5 inches to a foot off the bottom. There's something. Oh, a little sea robin. Alright, we switched back to the yellow bucktail now. We tried working the bottom with the little badfish bucky for the last like 30 minutes and only that little sea robin. And we're getting towards the end of the south wall here. And we're going to go around the tip of it and up inside the harbor. It's got to be a fish right here. Come on, come on, come on. Right on the tip. There's one. Oh my gosh. Real tiny baby. All right, nothing else on the tip here, which is kind of surprising. So we're gonna start working our way along the jetty inside the harbor. And I'm thinking we'll use this lighter rod. Take off the bad fish. And to start, just toss around this little prototype Papa. It's going to be a lot shallower up inside this harbor side of the jetty. So I'm thinking, any bass that are, cruising real tight to the rocks, they'll just see this little popper chugging and pushing water along the surface, and they'll come up and just smack it. Oh, just had a follower. That's a good sign. Oh, there was a bite. It's a real tiny one. This water is crystal clear, so to get a bite after, only throwing the popper for like 10 minutes. Oh, just got swirled on again. But yeah, to get some activity like that pretty quick, that's pretty good. Oh, getting swirled on. There he is. Got him. That was a cool bite. It's a decent one. That was so cool. I was able to see him like tracking it in this clear water and then just come up and destroy it. And there's another striper right there cruising. Whew. Woo, yeah. Light tackle action at its finest right here. Oh, just lost him right there. All right, well, we fished the popper for like another 15-20 minutes on top of this flat, and unfortunately no other bites. And I also tried a little tracer shot jig like that because a lot of the bait fish that's in this area is about the size of that little metal jig, and still no bites. So what we're gonna do is start working our way back to the launch, and I think we're just gonna beeline it to the far end, or like the first end of the jetty that we started on earlier. And the tide is going out now, so we'll hit that area. I'm hoping that there'll be a nice current break or a nice rip there, and hopefully a few more biters. All right, let's see if anybody's home here. This wind is cranked up out on the other side. I'm glad we hit the outside first, otherwise we probably would be having a really rough, wet ride if we were fishing on our way back on the sound side. And you know, like this point of the jetty here is probably like the last like fishable spot. There's one. It's crazy how small these guys are in here. You'd think there'd be at least one like 28 incher. Oh, got him. Boom. Just when I was about to jig this bugtail, that fish slammed it. Whoa. Taking a good little dig there, this little guy. This one has got some like weird marks on him, like some kind of infection or virus. Look at that. Full of bumps. There he is. Ooh, that one felt good when it hit. There he is. All right, FishAholics. Well, I think that is gonna be about it. Unfortunately, we, fished like another 20 minutes here or so, and had like 2 more fish on, came off. Didn't really seem like anything larger than what we've already been catching. So I'm pretty content with what we did today. Got on a nice bite, but they just were lacking in size. We had quantity over quality today, and the setup that I was using is the 4000 Evict with only 15-pound Green Moss Power Pro braid on it, 50-pound fluoro leader, and this rod here is my 7-foot heavy power fast action dark matter spinning rod. And this really is like a perfect setup for throwing, say, like 1 to 2 ounce bucktails or shads, and also topwater plugs, especially for in the kayak. And I guess from here on out, we are gonna head back to the truck, load up the kayak, and then I'm gonna be heading to the New London Ferry in Connecticut and getting back to Montauk. So that's where you'll probably see me in my next vid after this one. And I'm definitely gonna be trying to get back out to Rhode Island a lot more this season. I want to do a like ferry hopping like series for like where I could hop from Montauk to Block Island, fish, and then I can hop to Rhode Island on the ferry. And I want to do it all on my Quiet Cat bike, which I think would be a really cool little series for like 2 or 3 days of fishing. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and like always, live to fish, fish to live.